everyone, so new setup of course. I'm in my really small room. Today I thought I might do a brush special. So it's like a brush series because I know when I first started makeup I had no idea how to use specific types of brushes, and actually brushes are really important to your makeup application. They can basically decide whether your makeup looks flawless or whether it doesn't, and using them properly is super important. So today I'm going to be doing a sort of special on stippling brushes. Now a stippling brush is aka a skunk brush. This is what it looks like, and basically what it is, it's goat hair here. Well, if it's a MAC brush, it's goat hair here, and then you have synthetic white bristles on the top, and they're sort of poking out from like a forest of black hair, which is really weird, but I know it looks funny. This brush can do a lot of things for you. They are good for foundation, liquid foundation especially, powder, blush, and bronzer. So you can actually use this brush for basically your whole sort of face makeup foundation, and that's why I want to do a special on it, because a lot of people actually don't know how to use a stippling brush properly, and when they do use it, it causes streaking, and it doesn't really actually cause streaking if you use it properly. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use it for a liquid foundation. And for your liquid foundation, if you take a look at this, right, you see the really independent sort of white bristles. That's the only bristles that should be moving. So the first thing you do when you apply your liquid foundation is you simply take some foundation onto the back of your hand, and then what you do is you dab the foundation, this brush, into the foundation on the back of your hand. Don't just like squeeze the foundation on the top of the brush. That's just not going to work out. So maybe get a palette or something, or if you're lazy, just use the back of your hand and just simply take some of the foundation and then on your face stipple the foundation. This is called a stippling brush, a skunk brush. There's different names for it, but it's a stippling brush for a reason, because what you do is stipple the foundation on first before you swirl the foundation in. And so when you stipple the foundation in, you sort of just pat very lightly onto your skin. The foundation just goes on in small little pixels. Like, you know when you like zoom into a picture, you see all those little small squares? Those are like pixels. You're kind of doing the same thing. So you're just lightly stippling the foundation all over your face first, and then what you do is you lightly swirl the foundation in. So when you lightly swirl the foundation in, all you should be doing is actually moving the small white bristles on the top. The black bristles shouldn't be moving, so that means you shouldn't be pressing too hard. So press very lightly and swirl the foundation in. So this is my palm right here, and then you can see basically the bristles, the white bristles are moving. I'm not pressing down into my hand and moving the black bristles. You're supposed to only lightly move the white bristles, just like this. Not like this, don't press too hard, just lightly swirl the foundation in. And so just lightly swirl the foundation in all over your face, and you can see how nice the finish is. This stippling brush, or skunk brush, whatever you call it, is famous for giving you a very sheer, flawless application, a very sheer and flawless finish that kind of looks like skin. That's sort of the idea behind it. It's not something that's going to give you uber coverage. It's for those days where you don't really want to wear foundation, but you have to look flawless anyway, or you have really good skin anyway. You want something that's like sheer but flawless at the same time, but natural looking. You would definitely look into a stippling brush, because it's going to give you that finish. Whereas if you use like a foundation brush or your fingers, you're going to get a little more coverage, and you might not have that nice blendability of the foundation. So getting a stippling brush is pretty good. Just remember to lightly swirl this brush in. If you press too hard, remember, you will get streaking. Now another tip to remember about stippling brushes is that you want to get a stippling brush that is sort of firm. So some stippling brushes, which I've tried, like the Eco Tools one, I think, it just, when you sort of swirl the foundation, it goes everywhere. Like the white hairs go out of the black hairs. You don't want that. You want something stiff. So this is like the MAC 187, which is like the best stippling brush ever. You can see how stiff the brush is. The synthetic bristles don't bend when I pat it onto my skin, which is really important, because you don't want something that, you know, flops around. That's going to cause you streaking. So remember, to prevent streaking from a stippling brush, simply pat the foundation in and then lightly swirl the foundation in, and you shouldn't have any streaks at all. Now the second use you can use a stippling brush for is for your powder. So if you want to apply your concealer and then apply your powder after, sometimes when you use a big fluffy powder brush or you use some other brush, it can sort of rub off the concealer. But with this, it's going to be very soft, very gentle on your skin. So if you put some concealer on and you know it's going to rub off if you use like a really big fluffy powder brush, you can use one of these and take some powder and then slightly sweep the powder onto your skin, and you won't erase any of the concealer because the bristles are so light and very fluffy, so that the concealer stays. And it's just a great way of setting your whole makeup look, setting your foundation, setting your concealer with a stippling brush, because it sort of slightly sweeps the powder onto your skin and not buffs it in, because that's going to erase some of the concealer and the powder. The next thing you can use it for is blush and bronzer. So if you want that natural sort of just barely blushed or sun-kissed or whatever, you can use a stippling brush because it's not going to like sort of pack on the blush or pack on the bronzer. If you want that sort of really natural looking sun-kissed skin, then use a stippling brush for your blush and bronzer because it's going to give you a very sheer application. All you really have to do is going to use some of the bronzer and then slightly sweep it onto the contours of your face. And you can see that it does a very, very good job of contouring. It's not like it's like super, you know, spread out or anything like that. And then when you put your blush on, this is the NARS blush in Deep Throat. When you put your blush on, it just gives you a really, really natural finish. This is also great for some of the cream products as well. I wouldn't say probably the mousse or anything like that, but cream, not bad for cream, and not bad for those balmy sort of foundation products, because it is a synthetic sort of bristled brush, and synthetic bristled brushes go well with sort of cream and liquid products. So I hope you liked this video, and I hope you found it like super helpful. The next video I might do is maybe how to use a pencil brush, because those are one of my favorite sort of eye brushes to use, and hopefully you get something out of this, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!